today is not just about building software, it's also about building connections. And at its heart, MemoLens is also an attempt to use technology to support the emotional and social dimensions of student life. So it's a product with a human purpose. And while this is a technical presentation, I want us to keep in mind that the core problem is that school memories are often lost, fragmented, or inaccessible. So uh, students usually need a space where they can be able to use their memories from high school or any school later in life, and this will make memory preservation way easier. Oh, so the problem in current memory capturing systems. Right now there are many problems because we need to look at what's broken. School events such as sports, games, rallies, theater, or even just hanging out with friends are often forgotten or barely documented. And also, traditional yearbooks try to fix this, but they also have many issues. They're sometimes expensive, limited to what editors pick, and only released once in a year. Also, when a student wants to share a memory like a candid photo from a club meeting, they don't have a central place to put it. As a result, we end up with scattered media across camera rolls, group chats, or maybe even social media, but those all lack structure. These tools are not just designed for collective storytelling or historical continuity. Thinking about your school life and how many great memories were captured but they are never shared or stored in a way that you can revisit, that's the gap that my app addresses. So why does this problem matter? So this isn't just about photos, it's also about identity and connection. Think about the feeling you get when you look at old photos with your friends. They share nostalgia, which is powerful. And without a structured community-based tool, those memories can fade. There's also a cultural gap because many schools and clubs miss the chance to archive their achievements because there's no system in place. As a result, social media isn't designed for schools. It's also too broad and it's easy for important moments to get lost in the noise. And we need a space that centers on student experiences where content is shared, organized, and saved specifically for our school lives. This also has implications for digital literacy. We're teaching students to create, but not necessarily how to preserve. So MemoLens is also a bridge between casual sharing and long-term archiving. So solution overview. That's where my app comes in. MemoLens is an app where students can upload, view, and organize school memories. But what makes it special is how memories are tied to groups, sports, clubs, classes, or anything. So a photo of the robotics team can go to the robotics group, where also senior sunrise photos can stay with the seniors. It's also very intuitive, structured, and lets students both contribute to consume content in a way that feels relevant and meaningful. Unlike generic social platforms, this one is grounded in the school experience and it also introduces a sense of legacy. Seniors can also leave behind their albums that underclassmen can view years later. Events such as dances, performances, and trips also become a part of the school's living memory. All right, now moving on to the app's core features. So MemoLens offers these following key features. You can upload and tag photos, making them very easy to organize. You can also join or create groups, whether for a school event or a club or a grade level. Yeah, and you can also interact with other students through comments and reactions. And you also get notifications when the new content is posted. And finally, you can get your own customizable profiles. These features aren't just for the shows. They are also carefully designed to balance community usability and memory preservation, and they're also been tested with real users to refine the flow and their accessibilities. Each one can serve a specific purpose. Tagging can improve searchability, and group creation also supports structure, and notification can drive engagement, and together they can form a cohesive system. And here is my overall project and app outline where we have all the different screens and each screen represents the different types of content, such as the post and upload screen, where you can upload images, and you also have the join group screens and create group screens, where students can create their own groups for whatever club or group they want. And we also have the sign up screen, login screen, and home screen, which are very essential for all apps. And there's also the friend request screens so that users can create friend groups. So how it works. Let me explain how it works. So first, a user can log in through Firebase authentication. They can upload a photo which gets stored in the Firebase storage. And the metadata about the photo, who uploaded it, or what group it's in, and its tags, etc., are all stored in the Firebase Firestore. So everything can sync real time. This system architecture can ensure that the data is very secure, scalable, and fast. It also allows us to manage and access rights and group privacies efficiently and effectively. For example, a private group can limit viewing to invited users, and posts can also be filtered by tag or uploader. This separation of concerns, authentication, media storage, metadata is all key to building scalable applications. We also use Firebase not just because it's convenient, but because it supports best practices in modern mobile app development. So we built Memolins using Flutter on the front end because it runs on both iOS and Android and also provides a consistent user interface with a single code face. And for Flutter, what's really good is that we can use Dart to create both iOS and Android features, so we don't have to switch languages midway for two different types of systems. And we also use Firebase, which powers the backend, including the authentication, and Firestore for real-time database operations and storage for media files. And we also plan to integrate Google ML Kit for future features such as technological AI recognition and also AI storage and probably more AI organization for data. And this stack was chosen to overall balance the speed of development with scalability and performance. It allows us to iterate quickly, deploy efficiently, and also focus on developing meaningful features. Flutter also gives us fine-grained control over all the layouts, animations, which is very critical for building an app that feels very polished and intuitive. Firebase helps us overall to deploy without setting up our own server infrastructure, which saves a lot of development time and costs. So here is one of my sample codes for the sign up and login screen. So the code that handles the signing up and logging in is shown. And for the Firebase authentication, it can handle this securely. The sign up and login functions each take an email and password. And when they are called, they can create a new user or authenticate an existing one. Errors are also caught and printed to help with debugging. Separated this into its own auth.dart file can keep the code modular and clean. This practice can also enable other screens to access authentication without redundancy. Authentication is the gatekeeper. Without it, we can't really connect users to their personalized content. That's why security and simplicity were the top priorities. And as we can see, we have the authentication with the user email and password, and it will store this as a user ID. And we also have the email and password for their authentication purposes. So when they try to sign in later, they can do so from the Firestore database. And here is also the create group screen from my sample codes. So here is how we let users create their groups. When a user submits their group name, description, and privacy setting, a new document can be added to the Firestore in the groups collection. This structure makes it overall easy to manage manage membership and privacy, and it helps us scale efficiently. It also lets us tie user-generated content directly to social structures within the school, which increases relevance and retention. A group becomes a living archive, and its content evolves with its members. So every upload can add to their shared stories. And in addition, we also created a facial recognition feature that can be able to let users scan their faces using the phone cameras, and eventually the AI can use CV2, which can overall spot their faces and find the parts of their face that can be saved into the Firestore database and overall can be used for future reference when generating their own personalized online yearbooks. This way, it's very helpful and simple for users to be able to look back at their years of school and see their memories year by year. And here is my sample code for the profile update. This is the profile update function where the user can upload a new profile picture, change their display name or username, and save. And when they press the save button, the app uploads the image to Firebase storage, which gets the URL and updates the user's Firestore document. This process overall is very fast and it keeps the UI from very responsive. And it also helps create a sense of identity and personal ownership within the app, which increases user engagement. We want users to feel like this is their space, so not just another feed to scroll through. Customization helps build that connection overall. And here are my experiments. So for my experiments, I have done several experiments with real-time users and their feedback and experiences. So first, we ran an experiment to test the usability of the photo upload feature. Originally, users were taking 3 to 5 minutes to upload an image due to the AI for detecting inappropriate or ineffective photos being very buggy and glitchy sometimes. So originally users were taking a lot of time just uploading one image. So that is way too long, which we suspected it was the UE issue where people didn't know where to go or what button to press. And we also asked the participants to complete a simple task, which is upload a photo to their groups and record their time and feedback. So this was overall repeated and it was overall across many multiple versions of the UE. And here we can see the upload time for before the improvement, which averages out to about like 4 minutes for the trials. And after improvement, then the time has reduced drastically to only about five to 10 seconds per upload. And for the results overall, that after improving the user and upload interfaces, my average upload time dropped to 5 seconds. That's a very big improvement. And we also asked the users how satisfied they were with the process, and the average score was 4.2 out of 5. This problem was mostly due to the UI confusion where when we improved the clarity and reduced steps, the process became way more smoother. And this validated the importance of iterative design and also user testing. And next is my second experiment, which tested the engagement of the users. We asked, do push notifications help users return to the app to view more photos and new photos? Then we split the users into two groups, a control group with no notifications, and then a test group that received all the alerts. And we also tracked their click-through rates and time spent on the app after new content was posted. So here's what I overall found. The notification group had a 65% click-through rate, and the control group had only had 30% control rate. And we also saw that the users in the notification group spent twice as long browsing photos. This confirmed our hypothesis. Notifications work, but we also realized that we really need to manage them carefully. Too many can feel spammy, so we're working on different settings to let the users choose their frequency and type of alerts. And here the bar graph can show the engagement comparison for notification versus control groups. And we can see that the click-through rate percent for the notification group was 65% average. So, and their viewing time was longer than the control group, which was only 2.5 minutes compared to the 5 minutes mark. And the overall control group only had 30% engagement rate versus the notification group, which received all the notifications, achieved 65% engagement. So when we compared methodologies with other similar past projects, we have seen that the Yale Digital Yearbook project also tried to preserve history well, but it didn't really support new content or interactions. And the chat box gallery also was another interactive, but it overall lacked the tagging, filtering, or personalization features that my app has. And another school platform had photo sharing, but no privacy controls. So my app MemoLens overall improves on all of them. We can offer structure, privacy, personalization, and real-time interaction. It's designed to grow with the community rather than simply display static content. So during the building and coding of this app, I had many challenges, such as users not really understanding the interface and also getting students to return to the app. And also my UI also was sometimes unclear due to some issues with the code sometimes bugging and not showing the correct interface for each page. And in addition, we also had a managing privacy within the group content because it really wasn't keeping track of which groups were private and which groups were public. So that was a really big problem that I also had to fix. And I solved these problems by redesigning the overall upload experience, adding the notifications buttons and also notification rings, and also including privacy toggles for each group and post so that it ensures that the private groups remain private and public remain public. And the key was overall it was iterative testing, listening to user feedback, and also staying focused on the students' usabilities. And for future development, I believe that the next steps are to add more photo filters and search tools for easy overall navigation. I can also integrate better facial recognition tools using the Google ML Kit to automate tagging, or I can also use uh, OpenAI's feature for CV2 and overall facial recognition so that my scan face button can be able to capture more frames and parts of a person's face so that it can be more accurate when identifying the person when it's looking through the different posts that users have created throughout groups and when generating the new yearbooks. And I would also like to add voice commands or smart assistant integration for overall accessibility features for future users. And I can also create different timelines so that users can view their memories by their semesters, years, or even different events throughout school time. And these would overall make MemoLens not just very useful, but also intelligent and highly personal. So the overall limitations, we still have, we're still in the MVP stage where we haven't really done the stress testing for hundreds of users, and we don't yet have AI tagging. And we're still collecting feedback from broader audiences. But overall, we have validated the concept and proved that users overall enjoy and benefit from the app. We've also created a scalable foundation that can be expanded into other school systems or youth-focused organizations, such as the sign-up screen, where it includes a button where you can toggle and select your school from the list. And why does my app overall matter? So I want to come back to my overall mission where Mammolins is supposed to help students and relive the experiences that define their school years. It overall helps build the school culture, strengthens friendships, and also creates lasting memories. And overall, the world right now today, where content disappears after about 24 hours, Mammolins can make these memories overall last. And in doing so, it can build identity, pride, and also connection within the student body. And if you're interested in learning more about my project and also more information about future work, you can contact me using my email or my LinkedIn page. And yeah, thank you for listening. And here you can ask any questions if you have any.